No way!
Dress is made from.
I'm not some big time interviewer. I'm just a small town guy from Missouri.
Who is this? Who I fry with? Is this Miley?
Christopher Lawrence, the costume designer from Hannah Montana, the movie. I am the perfect person to interview you about this movie. I'm a huge fan. When my childhood best friend and I were kids, we were actually Hannah and Miley for Halloween. I'm Hannah and he was Miley. And then this year, my Apple Music review, Hannah Montana was my second most listened to artist. Listened to one version of Best of Both Worlds 177 times and another 149 times.
Professional help for this?
What'd you say?
Have you been seeking professional help for this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a problem. Believe me.
I'm embarrassed to say on my 25 most listened to songs, there's usually a Miley song in there too.
Oh, yeah.
An old school Miley song.
I love it. Yeah. Old school Miley, amazing. New school, gotta love Miley.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start by asking you how you got started in the world of costume design and what drew you to it.
Suppose the shortish version is that I'm from Los Angeles and have always been in the entertainment industry, gone to school with people who became famous, worked with people who became famous. And I worked in a clothing store that I did go to college and study communications. But then I was having a hard time getting a job in the industry. I worked in a store in Beverly Hills, a clothing store, and actors and directors. And I worked with them to kind of talk about what looked. I helped them shop basically.
I gotcha.
And I thought world out there for me to be like a personal assistant, but then I learned that there was also this thing called costumes, because the actors would send costume designers in to meet me and say, well, he knows what looks good on me. Or they somewhere and they would have the designer call me and say, can you send some things for this person? One of those people was Demi Moore, who I was friends with.
Oh, wow.
She was on location, and so I sent stuff. So then it kind of clicked, like this was a better world. And I really love telling stories through what people wear. Every one of us, I think, RuPaul says we're born naked and the rest is drag. we all tell a story on how we're dressed, and that may be a different story depending on how we feel. And I love doing that, adding that contribution to an actor's work.
Amazing. Well, you've done some amazing things in your career. I'm so glad that you decided to go down this route. So, wow, Hannah Montana, the movie. Do you remember the day you were asked to join the crew and what that was like? I mean, you designed for, I would say, the most iconic Disney Channel character, so that's got to have been such an honor.
Yeah, I didn't, I'm that TV show wasn't made for me. My world, when I watched it, obviously when I heard about the job, I watched it to see what it was about, and it felt to me like Laverne and Shirley, that Lily and Miley, or Lily and Hannah, those sort of madcap adventures. And I was so entertained by the show, and I really thought Miley was fantastic. So I was very excited to get to work on it. As a costume designer, I felt like when you were dressing kids that age, when you're looking for costumes for children, that was kind of the era of Britney and Christina Aguilera and all that. And kids' clothes had gotten very adult, almost too adult. Tank tops looked like lingerie, and it got I thought it was sexualizing children a little too much. Really wanted to get this job so that I could bring back sort of innocence to the tween market, because I knew the effect that the Hannah Montana was already having, because it was already a product everywhere.
Yeah.
So I knew I could, or I hoped that I could have some influence on getting children's clothes back to a more innocent, kind of fun time. And when I got the job, I was super excited, but soon after that, I got very unexcited, or very scared for a weekend, because when you do contemporary costumes, a lot of it is shopping, you know, and telling a story, creating a character based on just clothing. But in this case, because she was such a product, I got the memo. I got the call that said everything she wore had to be designed, had to be
Oh
drawn, had
my
to be
God.
made. I wanted to own it, so it could be dolls and Halloween costumes. So you can't all, you know, wearing some other designer's clothes
Wow.
without.
That is.
So I had a weekend of like, oh my gosh, well, how I this is not what I do. I don't do that. And then, you know, after a few margaritas and things, I was like, I got this.
Amazing.
And it was, you know, it's one of the jobs that I'm the most proud of because we don't get to do that in contemporary costume design. And I did change tween fashion for a time. I saw the gap in other people copy my clothes, copy my color
Oh
palettes,
wow.
you know, which was, you know, of course you kind of go, well, you know, they're copying me, but I also was like really happy that I could have that.
Yeah, you influenced the world. I mean, amazing job. So, did you have a certain process for designing all of her handmade looks?
Um, I mean, the basic, you know, what we do on everything. You know, you sort of do some research, and you know, with Miley and Hannah, the trick is to show the differences.
Uh-huh.
We work on a movie, you know, we're building these clothes and building this world, you know, a year before the movie's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really look at trends. You have to, because if I buy today what's cool and trendy, by the time the movie comes out, it's a joke, you know, it's over. So you have to kind of just go to your own sort of creative space to decide what Hannah's look is. And I had, of course, the series as a template, but I really wanted to create a more elevated world for Hannah and for Miley.
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna ask you how you went about putting your own creative spin on, because you did the movie and then a handful of designers did the television show. So it must have been fun putting your own twist on things, which I can definitely tell you did.
Yeah,
All the looks are so good. I've got one of them on my shirt right
that's
now.
that's one of my favorites. Yeah, I think it's just, you know, I think the difference is really the amount of money and the amount of time.
Hmm.
You know, those costume designers are all super talented. They just didn't have the resources that you get when you work on a feature film. You know, and Disney was very invested in this being successful.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have to look at the TV series from a design standpoint. I sort of got that. It was really looking at pop stars and
Cool.
where I wanted pop stars to go, and then also again, sort of keeping Miley and Hannah. You know, it's the best of both worlds, so you have to keep them sort of together but separate.
Yeah, and I printed off a couple photos. There's such a huge contrast between Miley and Hannah. Uh, how fun was that? I mean,
It was
doing that contrast.
great. I mean, for the story of Miley and going back and seeing her, you know, her grandma and connecting with her family again, um, that's a lovely story to tell. And
Yeah,
I did that with, you know, softer colors and just simpler, um, kind of still like, I went a little bit 70s with it. Um,
cool.
but, you know, just those softer palettes and shapes and things like that. Then I could contrast that with the brighter world of Hannah and, you know, just really pump up the sort of pop fashion of it all.
Amazing. Yeah, I love Hannah's glamour and Miley's more laid back, sometimes country look. And Hannah Montana, some people might not know this, from when the show started, it has almost been 20 years, so she's almost vintage. And I couldn't wait any longer to talk to you about her. So I'm so glad you joined us today. And back to the Best of Both Worlds concert dress. We got to talk about it. It's one of my favorite
There.
looks in the movie. Oh, amazing.
That's the,
Um,
let me see, that's the sketch.
no way.
And it's funny that you mention that because it really was a favorite of mine that these are this is what the dress is made from.
Oh,
And
cool.
pin because I keep it safety pinned in my my messenger bag because I just loved this so much.
Yes.
The one image that really was all over Los Angeles and all over the world probably was Miley in like this little sequin tank top, and
okay,
that was sort of a vibe for her. You know, how do I take that, elevate it, make it more, you know, rock and roll or, you know, bigger edge. So instead of sequins, there's something called a paillette, which is basically it's a sequin where the hole is at the top.
okay.
And that's been around from the 60s, you know, and things shimmer and move and catch light, which is all really great for a concert, you know, concert lighting and footage. But how do you do that where it hasn't been seen before and it looks more, you know, fashion forward? So I had these leather pieces. It's all made out of leather.
Oh, no way. Cool.
And then it's sewn onto a dress, onto a sweater, basically, like a big sweater dress.
Wow.
That's them.
Oh.
You can see how they catch the light. And then throughout the movie, I used stars a lot because she's a star, and you know, so the star earrings, star motifs. So that's why I put the star in the dress as well. Just
amazing.
And also to give it just that more graphic kind of eye-catching vibe, because we filmed it in the middle of a, you know, a huge arena. So, you know, you want to be able to see her right away.
Awesome. Yeah. And such an iconic dress to go with the most iconic song. And my best friend pointed something out today, and I have to ask you about it. So, Best of Both Worlds dress, which is a song about her living a double life and being a star on the side. Did you, like, there's a star on the side of the dress. Was that symbolic? Like,
it absolutely was.
Yeah. That is so cool to me. I love that. Wow.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't even remember how we kind of went. You know what? It's all kind of all happened at the same time. Like moving it over is kind of flattering to the shape, and then you kind of go, "Hey, wait a minute," you know.
Yes.
Also, I know you have talked about, you know, liking the dress. That's the white dress with the black circles on it.
Yeah.
And with that, which once we spray painted the circles onto it, realized we had made sort of kind of some Mickey Mouse shapes, like as like large circles, little circles. So it also became kind of you know, they call it the hidden Mickey.
Oh, that's so cool. Little Easter eggs. I can't believe I'm just realizing the star thing after, I mean, I've watched that movie, especially that scene. I used to watch it like over and over. I just love, you know, that whole segment of the beginning of the film. Also, the color scheme reminds me, do you remember the Rainbow Fish book and all his little scales? The dress like reminds me of that color scheme. I love it. Okay, Christopher, I have been dying to talk to you about this. A missing scene. I came across a photo of you and Hannah on Instagram, and she's wearing this crazy, amazing outfit for a scene that didn't make it into the movie, I guess?
That's true. I forget, where do you see that? Is it on the DVD or something?
So this is on your Instagram, of course, and then there's a YouTube interview of you just behind the scenes on set, and it cuts to like, I mean, 3 seconds of what looks like the outfit montage scene in the Lizzie McGuire movie. So was it similar to that?
Well, I haven't seen the Lizzie McGuire
movie. Oh, Christopher.
It's that basic thing where, you know, she goes to a department store with Vanessa. She meets Tyra Banks, and she's trying on clothes to find, I guess, you know, more sort of Hannah inspired costumes or outfits. So I was just kind of doing different vintage looks. So that dress is actually a vintage Nina Ricci dress, late 60s. Actually, that one I think is later. We did like 60s, 70s, 80s.
Cool.
That one's 80s. And it was a great sequence. I guess it just didn't move the story forward. It was just kind of a fun pop kind of, you know, moment.
I gotcha. Honestly, tragic to to me, I mean, this has got to be one of my most favorite Hannah looks ever as a huge Hannah Montana fan.
Yeah.
And Hannah's so about fashion. I'm surprised they left that scene out, but I mean, props to you.
Yeah.
This look is crazy awesome. And the shoes that go with it. Oh my gosh. Um, so let's see here. Okay, I wanted to ask you, I'm always curious about clothing doubles. I've worked with a couple of other costume designers before. In that interview I saw of you on YouTube, there are two of this dress on the racks. Why was there a double of this dress? I know sometimes stunt doubles or
I'm
stand-ins.
pretty sure we had 5 of those, and it's because in the sequence where she's wearing it at the mayor's dinner, and there's a ferret that runs down the table, and there's like food flying a bit.
Uh-huh.
White dress, for heaven's sake. So you just don't know what's going to happen to the dress. So if somebody knocks over the drinks or the gravy or something like that, and it gets on her dress, you don't really have time to get it cleaned or
Yeah,
clean it. So you just change the dress.
I
And
gotcha.
also, when children work, Miley was 15 at the time. They have a shorter amount of time to work.
Mhm.
So dress somebody else, which we did often, put the Hannah wig on somebody else, and you just shoot that person from behind or from the side, or just their arm comes in. So obviously you want to have different clothes for that person than you have for Miley.
Oh, that is too cool. Yeah, I was wondering if she had stand-ins. I bet that was so fun for those girls to stand in for her. Oh,
Yeah.
that is so cool. And then was it hard to replicate this that many times? Or
What we did actually is it's been silk screened, so there is even though it was meant to look like spray paint, like graffiti,
uh,
it was stenciled, so we could match it the
gotcha.
same. And then the top part of it is a vintage lace that I found in a fabric store. That little sort of black circular lace that we cut out, so that was from the '60s, and it's sort of taking Miley Hannah to like an Audrey Hepburn. Like, this part is very beautiful and classic.
Uh,
Put it over a tank top and put the shrug, and then you just funk it all up. So you start with the classic shape and image, and then you take it to a new place.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I wasn't expecting there to be so much vintage, which is perfect for our page. And also, I was gonna say you're a true magician, wizard at layering. I like the blue cardigan and the green tank top under the dress is so awesome. You did a lot of really cool layering. I love this one as well. Did you do a lot of experimenting with layers and patterns? I mean,
I think it's sort of going back to that innocence where,
mhm,
so you don't want a lot of skin, but
mhm.
be like a pop star, and you want it to have impact. So how you do that is with color, mixing patterns, and just adding pieces. So it wasn't so much, I wasn't experimenting with really the shapes and the pieces. It was just, since this was all made, it was going to fabric stores and looking at this piece of fabric and putting that piece of fabric over it, and just finding things that all kind of worked. That dress that has the bow and the ruffles, and then the jacket has like all the shine to it. That just, again, she wears that to the Santa Monica Pier for Lily's birthday party, and she kind of showed it at her own party. So we wanted it to be, a little obnoxious, so the patterns are a little more clashy and bright.
Uh,
That the costume, that first one you talked about, from the when she goes to, I think she thinks she's going to New York, right, to do some promotion
mhm.
for Hannah. So that's when I've gotten the picture up too. That's when
Oh, awesome.
she looks like that. But she takes off the pieces little by little. So we made a T-shirt that was asymmetrical,
Uh-huh.
so that would be kind of a cool line. And then when she sits in the field where the horse is, and she needs to like strip down and become Hannah, yeah, then she's just in the T-shirt. And the
Wow.
jeans were white, but they had a metallic wash. You can't really see it, like a silver metallic wash. but once she hits the dirt, then we dirty them up a little bit, so the metallic thing kind of goes away and it becomes more earthy and grounded.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's a really, really cool transition how she ends up in this outfit. I love it. Gosh, yeah, I'm so glad that they hired you for this film. Seriously amazing. And I wanted to ask about something else. I'm sure this was really fun. The Hannah to Miley reveal at the Crowley Corners concert. So in that scene where she reveals her identity as Miley is so brilliant. It perfectly transitions from Hannah's flashy style to Miley's grounded look. How did you go about designing this historic moment?
Wow, that was, you're really taking me back. Oh. I don't actually have a story for that. I think we knew that it was going to be, it's at a county fair kind of vibe. So that silver vest does have like Swarovski crystals and things on it, and her Converse high tops are completely Swarovski crystalled with the HM logo on it. But we knew we wanted it to be, that even Hannah would know her audience. So we wanted to be a little dressed down.
Yeah.
And then it's a very simple transition really when she takes the wig off. Kind of crazy thing about that was we had, because she's got 2 other costumes at that concert, right?
With first she's hat, I think.
Yeah, well, I remember she ends up in that cowboy shirt with the big shirt.
Yeah.
And there was a very famous cowboy tailor named Nudie that made all the clothes for like the singing cowboys of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And Nudie's still existed at the time, and that's who made her top.
Oh, cool.
But then we couldn't figure out. I had like 6 probably options drawn. Like they were like purple leather chaps over her jeans, and then like the big skirt, kind of rockabilly skirt that she ends up wearing. And none of us could really decide what was the right thing. Everyone was like, "Gosh, I don't know. Is it this? Is it that?" Miley was a different girl then, and I remember Miley said, "Oh, I don't know about those chaps. They kind of scare me." Which I can't afraid to wear anything nowadays. But because we were, there making the clothes in real time, like while we were filming that sequence, I asked a bunch of the kids in the audience. I said, what do you like better? Do you like this one or do you like this one?
Oh, cool. And
most of the kids liked the Western shirt with the big skirt.
Awesome.
So that's like real time answer her fans what they wanted to see her in. Which
that is too cool. Oh, I love that. Wow, awesome. I've got just a couple more questions for you, and something I've always been very curious about is the fate of Hannah's wardrobe. I think a while back I saw that some of her costumes were on display at Disneyland, but do you know where her costumes are now?
Well, unfortunately, everything, well, not unfortunately, but everything we make is the property of the studio. They own everything. And so those costumes have all went back to Disney. Disney does their own sort of version of Comic-Con. That's E23. Costumes were on display there, which, it's kind of amazing I went and Miley performed. It was, it was right after the movie came out, the summer after that. And, there's like Julie Andrews' costume from Mary Poppins. There's these iconic Disney costumes. And then there's the circle dress was there, which was
that's awesome.
Really nice. Unfortunately, most people don't give the costume designer credit. So I would say like costume from Hannah Montana, the movie, worn by Miley Cyrus. No mention of who designed it. That's a bummer. But they did have them on display in some of the movie theaters, and they were good about that. Then they gave credit.
Wow. So you think they're just somewhere in a Disney vault, or?
Yeah, they're in Disney archives somewhere.
Well, I gotta figure out where and go and rob them.
I didn't say that on camera.
Yeah. Oops. But wow, you should be so proud of yourself. I bet that was awesome to see them on display. A shame they didn't mention your name, but
They didn't
lastly,
and they didn't mention anybody's name. I know Mona May, amazing costume designer, had things from Haunted Mansion there. Um, they had stuff from like the original Davy Crockett and the Mouseketeers, like just the history.
yeah,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, so crazy. And lastly, I gotta ask what it was like working with Miley. Do you have any fun or memorable moments? The chaps thing is pretty
Yeah.
funny to me.
I have to say, I loved and continue to love Miley so much. You know, she was she is very funny. I remember the very first time I spoke to her. You know, we call the actors or we call their managers or whoever, and we get their sizes. And always, you know, a lot of times they don't know their sizes. And her, I don't like her manager wrangler person, because remember she's 15.
Mhm.
She's like, oh, I don't know what size like bra she wears. So she's like, but hold on, I'm at their house. So she's like rummaging through her drawers, and somebody picks up the other phone. And she goes, "Hey, who is this? Who size bra I wear?"
Oh my gosh, it was Miley. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
is this Miley? You know, and so that was our first interaction.
No way.
Hilarious, you know. And we just had the best time. I've worked with a lot of singers. You know, I did a movie with Madonna, uh,
Oh.
Williams, plenty of others. And Miley was the only one that used to sing all the time.
Oh, really?
She would just sing on the set all the time. She just loved, you know, she loved singing. Um, One thing that was really incredible on that was um, she had almost every day there were kids that were there to meet her and hang out with her that were from the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Very, very sick kids. And she would spend time with them every day, every day.
Oh,
And
that
that was,
is
yeah, so
amazing.
she was like a fun girl. She was, yeah, she's just crazy and hilarious, but she also had just that really grounded, lovely, lovely heart.
That is so amazing. That makes me so happy to hear. It sounds like the whole experience was amazing, and it looks like you two just love each other. But yeah, Christopher, I gotta be honest, I'm not some big time interviewer. I'm just a small town guy from Missouri,
Yeah.
and doing this interview with you seriously means the world. And thank you so much for sitting down with Box Boy Vintage today.
You know, I did see some questions. And the only thing the one that I just see at the bottom, it says something about working with the custom made team and memorable fittings. That custom made team is, you know, that's the people who actually make all the clothes. And
Uh-huh.
acknowledge the woman who made all of Miley's clothes was someone named Marilyn Madsen, who did just lose her house
Oh,
in the fire. Uh,
wow.
and she was such an incredible, you know, the person who's standing there with you when you have the clothes on a form, or we have the fabric on the form, like it's a body form of like Miley, and
Uh-huh.
you're deciding where things go in proportions. That Marilyn was such a hand in hand person with me. I asked her if she wanted to have assistant costume designer credit, because I couldn't have done that without her. I definitely am the costume designer and lead the charge. But if you're not, you know, using everybody's talents around you to make your work better, then you're a fool. And I definitely do that. And I love everybody who came and helped on us. You know, there's somebody gluing the Swarovski crystals onto the Converse high tops, which took days.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
our people are contributing in such magical ways, and it just makes our work better and better. So I had a lovely, wonderful time working with my cutter fitter, and it was that was also an incredible experience. You're right, it was one of my favorite jobs ever.
That is amazing. Yeah, it sounds like I said, I've worked with a couple of costume designers for television stuff, and yeah, their team, it seems like a little family, you know, and I bet that was just so wonderful, making all of your visions happen and everyone helping you out. So Yeah, that's so awesome.
Great. It's, you know, it's, I get emails every once in a while. There was a woman in France who wrote a whole um, you know, like thesis about the clothes, you know, and the inspiration. And she had sort of married like classic looks with what I had done. I heard from somebody in Vienna who was a fan, and a young man in Mexico who had all these dolls that he had made by hand.
Oh
um,
wow.
for costumes from Miley as Miley, and then Miley as Miley Stewart and Hannah Montana. Um, and it just, you know, blows me away that this lives on. You know,
Oh, for
it's
sure.
a great legacy to have. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, seriously, you are a legend, Christopher. Really appreciate you chatting with us today. It was so great.
It's really, really been fun. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. And yeah, hope you have a great evening, and our hearts go out to you and your friends at, with the whole fire situation. But hope you all stay strong, and so glad we were able to chat about something fun and positive today.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. All right. Well, you have a great day.
Bye.
See you, Chris.